How can you personalize your messaging to physicians for greater prescription intent? What are people saying about your brand? How can you make your marketing efforts more precise and effective? These and many more questions are answered on this podcast, which is here to serve as a playbook for all your pharma marketing needs. As your host, Saumya Prakash, co founder of Multiplier AI Solutions, sits across pharma industry's top experts. This is your place to get all the insights about Gen AI, data, and beyond.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Pharma Marketing Playbook Data, Gen AI, and Beyond. Your go to podcast for mastering pharmaceutical marketing, data analytics, and AI trends. Join industry leaders as we explore cutting edge trends and strategies with the impact of AI. Tune in for more actionable insights and stay ahead in the dynamic pharma marketing world. I'm Saumya Prakash, co founder at Multiplier AI, and today we have a very special guest joining us, Mr. Vivek Hattangadi. Mr. Vivek began his career as a pharmaceutical representative and has done his graduation in BSc chemistry. Over the past 2 decades, he has been the chief mentor at B Black Belt Brand Builders, formerly the Enablers, guiding countless professionals in the industry and students in B schools. Previously, he was the head of pharma and sales of two divisions at Torrent Pharmaceuticals. Mr. Vivek is also an accomplished author with notable books including What the Pharma CEO Wants from the Brand Manager, and he has written over 9 books till date, and the ninth being The Ailment in Medico Marketing Copywriting, the RX. The book takes the readers through how generative AI can make the lives of brand managers easy, and is also a guide on how to leverage prompt engineering in copywriting. So thank you so much, Mr. Vivek, and welcome to the podcast. It's absolutely an honor to have you today with us.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Since you have such an accomplished career, spanning almost 50 years plus in the industry, I would request you to start if you could give an overview of how the industry has shaped and what has its been journey as witnessed by you.
Thank you, Soumya. First of all, I'd like to say that 1974 was also a digital age, and I used digital calculators and computers. And the digital calculators I am talking to you are about my 10 digits in the fingers. We actually used to do arithmetic by using the fingers. And my teacher in school, Miss Doreen D'Souza, she taught us how to use digital to do the calculation. She was my arithmetic teacher, and I'll never forget that. So from that age to today, when we are talking about GI, this is the generative AI. This is how the world has evolved. If you talk about the pharmaceutical industry, well, when I started my career in 1974, the industry turnover was just around 100 crores.
Oh.
And the biggest of the companies had a turnover like Pfizer or maybe GSK or Sarabhai. They had a turnover of around 10 crores. And they were considered to be very big companies. Another very interesting aspect of that age, the doctors used to give us 15 minutes आराम से 15 मिनट देते थे आज to get even 15 seconds is very 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 difficult. During those days, brand building was still in a very nascent stage, maybe except for a few multinationals which involved in brand building, and that some brands like Bicosils were built. Bicosils, I would say, is an eternal brand which was introduced way back in 1950s. That was the age which was dominated by the multinationals. The Indian companies and the products of the Indian companies were looked at with suspect, not of a good quality, low quality. But despite this, 1975 was the year when the Indian pharmaceutical company made a turn around. And that was because of a product called Metrogyl. Metrogyl was metronidazole, which was introduced by JB Chemicals, and it was a direct competitor of Flagyl. If I remember correctly, Flagyl was the first Indian company to overtake a flagship brand of an international company. Flagyl, that was from me and Baker. The company is now, it doesn't exist. It exists under a different name, Rowan Pelank and so on. 1975 also marked the discovery, or rather development, of the visual aid by Professor Tarun Gupta. Today it has become so ubiquitous. Everybody is using a visual aid. But the kind of visual aids which we have today, probably तरुण गुप्ता ड्यूरिंग his last stage, कैसे बनाते हैं आजकल विजुअल एड, उसको तो पूरा मर्डर कर दिया. So this is the one of the last words of Professor Tarun Gupta. So this is how the Indian companies have made, or rather, the pharmaceutical industry has evolved in the last 50 years.
Yeah, I can understand it's from 100 crores to I think now, 100 billion is what the industry has
Yeah, yeah,
moved.
yeah.
So it's a tremendous sea of change which we have seen. Coming to the next question, what do you think were the major impacts when it comes to pharma marketing, and how did it help doctors and in public awareness? Maybe you can talk about the recent trends that are going on in this AI era, or some things that you would want to mention as from a past experience. It would be helpful to know.
The first major impact came when the Indian patent laws were introduced, which were for the pharmaceutical companies, for agro, and for the chemical companies. And the Patent Act of 1970 said that we will allow process patents but not allow product patents. Which means in those days, you could manufacture even a drug which was introduced in ESA today through reverse engineering by using a different process of making the drug. That is how the Indian pharmaceutical companies post 1975 they made very good progress. Apart from Metrogyl, which I just mentioned, another company which took advantage of this process patent and they introduced a product called Proxivon. That was in 1974 only. And Proxivon went on to become such a big brand. Even today, a variant of Proxivon, Spasmo Proxivon, it is always within the top 10 or 12 brands in the Indian pharmaceutical market. Well, in terms of quality, even then, the Indian companies were looked at with suspect. Indian companies का quality बहुत low है. That was the feelings of the medical professionals. Why only medical professionals, even of the Indian public? But things changed after Ranbaxy came, Sun Pharma came, Torrent came, and taking advantage of the process patent, they introduced many new brands in the years, say between 1980s to the early 90s or 95s. In fact, one company, Torrent Pharmaceutical, they brought in so many new products that it was also called as a Turant Pharma, a company which brings in the other foreign the discoverers product within a month or 2 months. So that is how the Indian companies they made progress by using the by leveraging the patent law, the process patent law. It was really advantageous both to the doctors and the patient. Doctors because they got modern medicine, and patients because they got modern medicines at a cost which was sometimes even one tenth of the cost of the foreign brands, the multinational brands. I wouldn't say foreign brands, I would say multinational brands. The products which were introduced by Indian companies were really cost effective. And that really was a boom, boom, boom for the Indian pharmaceutical industry. And that is how today Indian pharmaceutical industry is considered to be, or India is considered to be as the pharmacy to the world.
Right.
In USA, as I know, about 40% of the generics are from India. And that is why there's a little bit of bitterness towards India. And every time they've tried to find out faults with the Indian companies. But I can tell you the quality of the products from India, from the top companies, I say, they are at par with the multinationals. In fact, today, many multinationals, they don't have their own manufacturing units. They get it manufactured from the Indian companies. So rest assured, those who are listening to me, the quality of the products from India are world class. Although the US FDA and the USA, they are trying to belittle the Indian pharmaceutical industry.
Very encouraging for all our audience and for me personally to know so much. So, you often speak about biologics and biosimilars becoming the mainstay in the treatment for future. Now, this will lead to a reduction in chemical based treatments. So, how do you foresee this as an impact, and how will the Indian pharma companies react to this?
If you look at the Indian pharmaceutical market, today the market is dominated by the uh, chemical entities. But over a period of time, maybe in the next decade or maybe in the first 15 years, in the next 15 years, biologicals are going to dominate. And the trend is already seen. I was just going through the top 10 companies, the top 10 brands of the world pharmaceutical market. And out of these 10 top brands, six were biological products.
Oh,
And the leader is a product, a biological product, which was just introduced about a couple of years back, that is Ozempic. Ozempic has really swept the market. This trend is being seen in India. When we are talking about biologicals, we in India, we are very strong in biosimilars. And many companies today, they are leveraging this for expanding their market growth. Some companies like Biocon is already recognized as a world leader in biologicals. Then today, another company from Ahmedabad, which is coming up very much in the biologicals, is Intas Pharma. That's because biologicals today have a lot of advantages over the chemical entities. They both have an advantage as well as a disadvantage. What is that big advantage with the biological products? The advantage with the biological products is that the side effects are much less as compared to the chemical entities. Second, the biologicals are also able to treat those diseases which were earlier thought we could not treat. Like, for example, some forms of cancer, some forms of psoriasis. Then you have Crohn's disease. These were some of the diseases which were then, of course, rheumatoid arthritis. These were some of the diseases which were a challenge to the doctors. And the coming of the biologicals and the biosimilars in India have really given them a helping hand. Biologicals also include the vaccines. And the world knows how the COVID vaccine kept you and me alive. I am alive today because only of the COVID vaccine, which was given to me from an Indian company, Serum Institute of India. Biologicals and other preventive medicines, they are going to be the mainstay of therapy in the coming years. And so also biologicals. But biologicals also have some drawbacks. For example, the biologicals are large molecule products, and therefore many of them need to be given through injections. They cannot, or it's very difficult to have large molecular products in oral form. That is one disadvantage with the biologicals. But you'll be surprised to know because of this disadvantage, there has been a fallout, and the fallout is a positive fallout. A new industry is growing now, and that industry is called as the pre-filled syringe industry. There's one company which is partly owned by the Tatas called Kaisha, which is in Vapi, which are the leaders today in pre-filled syringes. These are some of the advantage of the biological products. They will make the life of a person, of a patient, much easier. Besides, the coming years are going to be the years of precision medicines. Precision medicines, or we also call them as personalized medicine. When we talk about personalized medicines, they have to be necessarily biological products. So these are some of the advantages we see with the biologicals. And I can definitely tell you by 2035 or maybe 2040, about 60 to 70% of the market will be of the biological products. If any company today is still a laggard in manufacture of biologicals, they will be at a very, very big disadvantage. And of course, when you talk about biologicals, the marketing will also be different. The marketing will also be different. When you have biological products, when you have personalized medicine, or when you have precision medicines, patient centric marketing, which is an offshoot of H2H marketing, patient centric marketing, which is an offshoot, a natural outgrowth of H2H marketing, which has been propagated by Professor Philip Kotler, that's going to this kind of marketing is going to help the patient. Once you have this H2H marketing, even the what you call transaction marketing, which is very much in vogue today, that has that the levels of which go down. So we have a number of advantage. The other disadvantage with the biologicals right now was cost. Costs are very high. Second, they require refrigeration. They cannot be stored at room temperature. You necessarily have to have a cold chain to transport. Right now, we are not very sure whether Indian companies have this kind of, when I say Indian companies in India, have this kind of robust cold chain supply. But the fact is, in another 10 to 15 years, is going to be the world of the age of biologicals and biosimilars.
Wonderful. I think number of challenges listed out, right, from cold storage and logistics, and then the cost aspects. I think a lot more R&D and D and innovation is needed. And that brings me to the next most hot topic, I think, as if we call today, about AI and how AI will impact pharma marketing. And I think every corner of the world is somewhere buzzing around. How can I leverage AI and kind of take it to my advantage? So you have been an ardent believer of how AI can impact pharma marketing. And even for simple brand pitches and reminders, you have been very vocal that it should be brought into practice. So you started at an age where maybe telephones were even a kind of a luxury for medical reps. So how do you see that? How will AI actually enter the lives of people practically and change the game?
Before I start on that, many of the people in the pharmaceutical industries, even at the level of brand managers and field managers or even marketing managers, the moment they talk about AI, the one thing which scares them, अभी मेरी नौकरी गई, AI आ रहा है तो मेरी नौकरी गई. Well, that is not the case. That is not the case. Second, when people think of AI, the pharma people, they think of AI, they get a feeling that I have to learn coding, I have to learn what is Python, and so on. Let me give you an analogy. The pilot of a aircraft. The pilot of a aircraft, he doesn't have to know how the aeroplane was manufactured. He doesn't know have to know what is the engineering which is behind the aircraft. He has to know how to take off, how to land smoothly, how to handle a crisis like turbulence, maybe even bigger crisis like when your plane is getting hijacked or when there is a sudden drop, as that happened in two instances very recently, a sudden drop of altitude. So these are the challenges of a pilot. These are the things which you should be able to handle. The way he communicates with the ATC, that is also very, ATC means air traffic controller, that is also a skill which they have to develop. He doesn't have to know how a Boeing or an Airbus was manufactured. Similarly, for a brand manager, he doesn't have to go into those deep things which are required in artificial intelligence. He should know what the capabilities of AI are. How can I leverage these capabilities for making my life more comfortable? AI has helped the industry in many ways. For example, discovery of new products have been accelerated. The period of introduction of new products has come down right from 10 years to 1 year. Earlier, if you had to market a vaccine, probably it used to take around 7 to 10 years. But during the COVID time, because of artificial intelligence, because of accelerated clinical trials, at least 4 or 5 companies around the world, they brought in COVID vaccines in less than a year's time. And this is how artificial intelligence has saved the world. The brand managers actually, I don't know why they are so scared of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is there to help them, not to scare them or to take away their jobs.
Got it. I think very well put that. I think generative AI could actually simplify the brand manager's work and
Absolutely, absolutely.
makes his life actually easier. So it's, I think, just the lack of awareness and perhaps the underlying fear of a loss. But I think with due time, these things will kind of settle down as they are happening. So thank you so much, Mr. Vivek, for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences with us today. Your expertise in pharma marketing and your impressive professional journey has provided us with a very deep understanding of how AI strategies can drive significant business growth
There's
and
one more thing which I'd like to mention, and that is about generative AI. Without generative AI really has can make the lives of a of a brand manager much easier. All the written work which is doing now, like writing circulars, that can be allotted to generative AI. I have been personally using generative AI for the last 1 year or so, and I'm very happy and happy. The challenge for a brand manager is in giving the right prompts. The word prompt engineering itself is so complicated, people get scared of that word. Actually, prompt engineering can be reduced to a very simple word, and that is prompt writing. Yes, if people have to use generative AI, they have to be adept at prompt writing. If you have to be adept at prompt writing, it is trial and error method. I have succeeded only through trial and error. Today, I don't have uh, what to call it, a paid generative AI from any of these four ones. But even for the brand managers today, it is not necessary to have a paid one. Paid one is used for can be used for more complicated tasks, but for simple things like say writing circulars or getting your copy edited, your free one which is available is extremely good. And two which I have found very useful, one is Cloud AI, which has just come about 2 months back. And today I've been using Cloud so frequently, and the way they respond, my God, fantastic, is easily going to beat ChatGPT or even uh, this one, Gemini. I've become a fan of Cloud AI. So let me assure my brand manager's friend, generative AI is again to help you. All this with any platform, whether it's Microsoft Copilot or whether it's Gemini or Cloud or ChatGPT, they are like the genie from Aladdin's magic lamp. They are actually the slaves. Give them the command, the right command, and they were bound to obey you. But remember again, I remember in the 1980s there was a term called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Similarly, if your prompts or superclass vision learned only through practice, error and trial and error, you can become a good prompt writer. And that is really going to make your life very comfortable.
right. So I think we should all use the genies which are available with us, in the form of ChatGPT.
Absolutely.
And for our viewers, I know one episode is not enough to get all the insights from Mr. Vivek, but please do read his books. There's a wealth of information there and a lot of practical insights coming from a practitioner of AI with a tremendous experience of the industry. So, would strongly encourage you to go back, buy your copy, and thoroughly read it and grasp all the concepts. So, to our listeners, we hope you found this episode as enlightening as we did. And the rapidly evolving world of pharma demands continuous learning, and insights from experts like Mr. Vivek Hattangadi will help us in navigating this landscape. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. Until next time, this is Soumya signing off. Stay innovative, stay informed, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in pharma marketing. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you so much for your
Bye.
Thank you for joining us in this episode. We hope that the deep insights and knowledge shared today will help your business and brand grow by leaps and